My name is John Fulweiler. I'm a maritime lawyer here in Newport, Rhode Island. I practice up and down the East and Gulf Coast. I'm licensed in a number of jurisdictions from Florida to New Jersey and New York and Rhode Island and Arkansas as well. And I do promise one day to put a video up as to why I'm licensed in Arkansas. But today, what we're going to focus on in broad terms is the distinction between the remedies that a crew member has and the remedies that a passenger has in a situation where they've been injured aboard a vessel. Now, as I say in all my videos, what we're talking about today is general information. Always speak to your maritime lawyer to really understand what your rights are. I'm like a paper chart at a seafood eatery. I mean, you look at it, maybe you know what the waters look like, and you get a feel for where things are, but you wouldn't rely on that chart to navigate. So don't rely on me today, particularly with respect to this issue, because this is these are complicated issues, and I'm speaking in very broad terms, but it'll give you some issue spotting and a sense of how a crew member's rights differ from a passenger's rights. Now, today I'm not talking about some of the little nuances or big nuances such as the Death in the High Seas Act and longshoreman claims and whether you qualify as a crew member and all that. We're setting that aside. What I'm trying to do today is just show you the difference that exists between the rights and claims a crew member can typically make and the rights and claims a passenger can typically make. So with respect to an injured crew member, there are essentially three primary claims that you see a lot of. The first claim is what's called a Jones Act claim. Now, you may be familiar with the Jones Act from the news when they talk about moving cargo between different ports. It's a cabotage law, but there's also a part of that act that allows an injured crew member to sue his or her employer for negligence. And there's a certain category of damages that can be recoverable, and there's a certain threshold that you have to reach to prove liability. But the first claim is generally considered a Jones Act claim. Now, the second claim you typically see in a crew member injury lawsuit is a claim for maintenance and cure. Now, a crew member generally does not have a right to collect workers' compensation. So maintenance and cure is a judge-made body of law that affords maintenance, which is a daily stipend, to the injured crew member, as well as the cure, which is the payment of medical expenses. Now, that typically will continue in the normal course until the injured crew member has reached what's called maximum medical cure or maximum medical improvement. It's a complicated, or can be a complicated area. We can talk more about that in another video. So we have a Jones Act claim. When it comes to an injured crew member, we have a claim for maintenance and cure, and we also have a claim for what's called a breach of the warranty of seaworthiness, or an unseaworthy claim, meaning that a crew member is entitled to a vessel that's fit in all purposes for its intended use. And you can as a injured crew member, you can make a claim asserting that the vessel was defective in some fashion, it was not suitably equipped or manned or what have you. So, and there's a threshold, and it differs from the Jones Act claim. There's a threshold that you have to reach to prove liability. I think the takeaway when it comes to crew member claims is that there's a significant body of law that affords a full suite of remedies to the injured crew member. Now let's flip sides and talk about the passenger, the injured passenger. Generally speaking, as a passenger aboard a vessel, you're entitled to a duty of reasonable care. That's what the vessel owner owes you. And the claim, if the passenger is injured, typically asserts, it's a negligence claim, typically asserts that the duty of reasonable care was breached. You let hydraulic oil on the deck, or the chair inside the vessel's main cabin broke and I was injured. And you would argue that that was a breach of reasonable care. Now, the idea of comparing crew member versus passenger is to show you that there's a full suite of remedies available to a crew member under different theories, whereas with a passenger, they're more limited. It's basically just a negligence claim, and that a passenger typically can't make a claim for maintenance and cure. A passenger typically can't claim the vessel was unseaworthy. So I think with those sort of general spheres of distinction there, those two different circumstances, you get a feel for the fact that an injured crew member definitely has more available remedies to him or her. So If you're confused or have any questions, speak to your maritime lawyer. Always speak to your maritime lawyer before deciding what remedies you have or you don't have. And feel free to give us a call. We're always happy to take folks' call on these issues. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you.